When you see an adoption story online, remember that behind all the smiles, there is also trauma, and every child's past is different. But also, love can change everything.
Is he crying over his past? To me, it looks like he's crying because he's in a van full of strangers leaving his home. Every time I think an adopter might understand what adoption actually means, I see a video like this and question everything again. Like, congratulations on recognizing adoption as trauma, but how can you not think that taking a child away from everything and everyone they've ever known is a part of that? People tend to assume that before adoption, adopted people live miserable or brutal lives, and I'm not here to say that that isn't true for some of them, but let's at least recognize that this kid is crying because he's leaving the orphanage. What can get lost in this adoption orphanage discourse is that more than 80% of the world's orphans have at least one living parent, and many of those orphans see their parents, whether it's frequently, infrequently, or rarely. The idea that you would take a child, fly across the world to a completely different country with different people, different cultures, a completely different language, and act as if separating that child from the place it spent the first years of its life is doing that child a favor is something you could only conceive in America. Adoption is a tragedy. It is a government failure where rather than supporting vulnerable children and keeping them within their families and communities, they send these children off to complete strangers and cross their fingers wishing them the best. And what an ending for these children to end up with white saviors who pat themselves on the back with platitudes like love can change everything, to suggest that these children were never loved at all prior to the entrance of these white saviors into their lives.